What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out called Tides, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, let's talk about DEC. Now, I've been doing this kind of like weekly DEC health check, mainly just checking to see how much the company has and when we can expect to get the Flywheel activated once again. So you can see now that the company is actually sitting at about 105 million DEC. Things have seemed to accelerated just slightly, right? We know that there's been a ton of these spellbooks purchased, so it seems that there are potentially new players coming in or a lot of market activity, potentially a lot of credits coming in, which means that the company's paying out DEC on the back end. So we are getting closer and closer to that time frame. Now, my guess, right, my guess from, not a guess, but I guess the calculation that I made based on the 40 million run rate that we have per week, maybe a month or two ago, was that we would see the team run out of DEC in early September, right? The first week of September is what I was thinking, maybe September 7th-ish or so, or around that time frame. Again, these were just like rough time frames. So September 7th-ish is what we were looking at, or we'll just call it like the first week of September. And if you think about it now, I mean, 100 million, 105 million, that's like 2.5 weeks. I'm recording this on August 17th, which means that there's 14 days left in August, exactly 2 weeks. So we're actually trending a little bit ahead of where I had initially thought. Now, again, that's only due to the acceleration that we've seen recently. If that acceleration continues, then yeah, I mean, this might even come up or pop up in August, which could be really cool. But all in all, I am just calculating this based on how much, you know, the 40 million run rate, and as long as we don't deviate too far from that. Again, if we deviate to the upside, that's going to be fantastic. Now, where we go from there, just as a little bit of a reminder, we do need to clear through a good amount of DEC from the market and pools, right? There's about 300 million DEC in there right now. And as you can see here, right, DEC is trading almost at 20% discounts. We'll just say like 17.5% discount to its peg value. So before the team starts buying SPS and burning it for DEC, they're going to come in and buy DEC. And in a previous video, I showed you just what that kind of buy pressure would look like, especially since the pools only have a certain amount of depth to them. And if the team is buying 40 million DEC worth, or, you know, we'll call it roughly 30,000, 35,000 US dollars worth of value per week, I mean, that's going to be significant, right? That's going to be significant and help to push DEC up or back closer to its par value. Now, again, I was being very conservative in saying if we hit that point where the team runs out and they start making their purchases in the first week of September, I was giving them like literally 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks to work through the market and pools, even though if it's another 40 million and they're going to be buying 40 million or roughly 40 million, as soon as we got down to the 250 range or below the 250 range when Conclave Arcana came out, that's when we saw DEC getting close up to its peg, right? We saw a little bit of the market equilibrium around that point. I'm anticipating something similar, and we could even reach that by mid-September now, if you think about it, right? Because we only need about a week. If it's like, we'll just call it like a 2.5 weeks or 2.25 weeks or whatever you want to call it. Let's just say we get to the first week of September. By mid-September, this thing is going to be down to potentially 260 million DEC, right? Because the team's going to be buying it, and then it's going to be getting recirculated back into the ecosystem. Maybe some of it finds its way back into the pools, and we have to buy again. So I'm not necessarily changing too much around that time. I think it's going to happen sometime in September. By the latest, I think it's going to be October 1st. But primarily, I'm just hedging my bets here to the conservative side, because we know that September tends to be a down month for Bitcoin, right? It's usually wake me up when September ends, September's red or something like that, right? And then we get to October, which is super exciting. Q4 in general tends to be fantastic for crypto outside of the year following the blow off top, which would be 2026 in this case, if we are still following the 4-year cycles. We don't really know, because this whole cycle has been completely messed up with the all-time high happening before the halving, and then, you know, it just being this convoluted mess of really only a Bitcoin only bull run is what I'm trying to get at. So that's kind of where we stand as of right now. So like I said, I'm trying to do this on a regular basis just to keep track, and it does seem like we were tracking. So I'm going to give a shout out once again to Bulldog, because he's the one who called this out, saying we do about 40 million DEC per week, and that has not really changed. We are seeing a significant amount of capital that comes into this game. Now, maybe some of it is getting recycled, right? Meaning that people are earning, earning crypto somewhere and then buying SPS or not buying SPS, but buying credits with it, or they're earning SPS or earning DEC, and in order to lock in gains, they'll buy credits, right? So stuff like that can always happen. There'll be some kind of like cannibalization, but on the whole, as this number gets lower and closer to the, we'll call it like 20, 30 million range, that is when we've seen the team usually prompted to go out and buy some DEC. And I don't think that is going to change unless, of course, in the next couple of weeks, they have some other kind of proposal where they want to fund something else and they ask the DAO for DEC, which I don't think is the case, right? Because they're receiving DEC from all of the pack purchases. And again, I haven't been following pack purchases. I need to get access to the Elmo Burns site, so I'll work on that. But I haven't been following how the pack purchases have been going. It seems like they're sitting on a decent amount of cash right now. So I would think that they could just go and take the credits that are coming in or whatever capital they're getting for the credits, turn around, buy DEC with that, use that to help prop up DEC in a good way, right? Not artificially, but actually come and prop it up with funds from outside that are coming into the ecosystem, and then get us to the point where we start burning SPS. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.